Pakshi.
Mr. Speaker, let me start my first contribution of this year with this. I am proud to be part of this national government which listens to the needs of the people. Mr. Speaker, firstly, I would like to speak on small businesses. I belong to a family which has always been in business and have myself been involved in various businesses for the last 2 decades. From my experience, I can certainly say that one needs a lot of skills to manage customers, suppliers, purchases, and comply with legal requirements for running a small business. I can also with full certainty say this, Mr. Speaker, that the member of this government and our Prime Minister John Key collectively have enough experience to understand what the requirements of small and medium businesses are and what difficulties they would be facing in today's difficult economic times. 90% of businesses in New Zealand are small and medium businesses which employ less than 20 people. About 70% of them claim to be family businesses. Mr. Speaker, the government has done a lot to help small and medium businesses since we have come into power. We just want businesses to do business and not just the paperwork. This government has incorporated the 90 days trial period, which gave opportunity and flexibility to both employer and employees to gain an employment. There has been some doubts from the opposition about 90 days trial period. But from my personal experience, I know as a fact that no employer will ever want to lose a good employee. Once you find a good and loyal employee, it makes the business well organized and cost effective to run smoothly. Therefore, the 90 days trial period, in my opinion, has given people with less experience the opportunity to gain employment in position which previously might not have been possible. It has also given the employer the opportunity to hire people whom they might previously not have done to find an employee which will be an asset to the business. In New Zealand, we have to be multitasker to run a business efficiently and profitably. For example, if one of the owner of a retail business, he will have to work as a teller, a purchase manager, and also have to manage the accounts. But it also does not stop there. The owner of the business has to have support from the family members in difficult areas. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate all those family members who help to run their family businesses. If one looks at the number of hours they put into retail business, it is very extensive and they usually have to work 7 days a week. The other issue that this government has addressed effectively and one that we should be proud of is law and order. When this government came to power, the situation was very bad. The previous government has not enough incentive into the law and order. Before 2008 election, National promised to take action to tackle violent crime, address the drivers of crime, and put victims at the heart of the justice system. Mr. Speaker, under the leadership of Honorable Simon Power, we have toughened sentences and restricted bail for violent offenders. We have also increased support, compensation, and services for the victims of crime. Another major milestone which we have taken under the leadership of Honorable Judith Collin was that we have employed additional 300 police in counties Manukau and 200 across New Zealand. Last year, during my visit to one of the public meetings in Manukau, I asked students how they felt about law and order in their area. One of the students replied that she lives in Manurewa and used to feel very scared when walking home from school or friend's house. But now she feels more confident as she sees more police on street. She said that now occasionally the police is driving through or walking around the neighborhood that ensures her safety. Mr. Speaker, Labour left the country in total confusion and National has picked up the pieces. The prohibition and parole service was in crisis. Criminals were pocketing millions in illegal proceedings, and there was serious shortage of police to tackle these issues. I am proud that this government has worked hard to bring confidence in the citizens of South Auckland in particular. On the topic of law and order, I would also like to add a small note on the taxi drivers' safety. As most of us are aware, last year there was a tragic death of a taxi driver, Haren Moini. His death caused shockwave around the taxi industry, and the taxi drivers were very fearful of their safety. The government has listened to their concerns raised by the taxi industry and worked hard to put new law in place quickly, such as cameras for the taxis. While there is no way that we can make drivers 100% safe, evidences from overseas show that the installation of cameras in the taxis has dramatically reduced the risk. Drivers who work during the night feel that this measure will greatly enhance their safety. Time and again, it has also been pointed out that we have very high unemployment. Has Labour thought that the reason behind this question? Labour during its long governance did not do any provisions to ensure that we have sufficient mechanism in place to ensure that if and when we have an economic crisis, we would not have such high employment issue. We took over from Labour. 1 in 5 of the school leavers could not read or write or had any math skills, which was basic necessities for anyone to such in life. The government has introduced national standards in the schools to overcome this problem. National standards will eradicate the problem of those who are failing behind and will enable teachers and parents to identify those who are falling behind and provide them with the help they need. Before I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I would like to touch on another important issue of infrastructure. New Zealand's economy extensively depends upon export. Produce needs to be dispatched on time, and exporters should have reasonable facilities to access the overseas markets. Unless we have world-class telecommunication and infrastructure, we would not be able to compete with other suppliers from the overseas. We must ensure that our exporters have world-class facilities. Mr. Speaker, because this government has strong focus on economic growth, we are investing in science and innovation, which will be lay a strong foundation for growing businesses and increase our exports. The new Ministry of Science and Innovation will be an effective bridge between science and industry. To help turn great ideas into export success, this will not only increase our export revenues, but also create new jobs. The national government has a positive attitude about the progress of this country. We have to ensure we expand this economy so that everyone in this country benefits from this growth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.